analyst and writer. Nilsa and I have been in writing groups together for about 10 years. Nilsa is coming out with her first book in 2025 about affordable housing. When I asked Nilsa why she writes, she said, "I write to explore myself and connect with others." That's exactly what I would have said. Here's Nilsa Ada Rivera with her story, Another Try at a Better Life.
Wow, that's high. Oh, no, that's right. I'm short. Forgot. Sorry. Here we go. There I was in a rundown motel on Biscayne Boulevard. It was one of those motels for the 2-hour visit people don't want anyone to know about. Kervin, my 3-year-old son, was eating McDonald's with my boyfriend Marlon. I ran into the bathroom and ripped off the paper that crossed the toilet. I could smell the bleach the cleaning lady had used. At least the bathrooms were clean. I squatted to pee onto the pregnancy test. It took me months to buy the damn test. I noticed I missed my cycle, but whatever. I hadn't been regular. I was 20 years old, homeless, with a toddler, and in love with a drug dealer. Every day, Marlon and I struggled to come up with $65 for the motel. I didn't work. Every bit of money Marlon made went for the room, food, diapers, gas, and some weed. When we didn't have enough money, we stayed at the car, which was a heat trap. We did anything to avoid the car. So I didn't want to take money away for a pregnancy test. I put the test on the sink and waited. I was shaking. I told myself a baby wasn't bad despite our situation. Maybe a baby would make Marlon say yes to that roofing job. The job paid less than what he made on the street, but it was consistent. And I could go to school, get my GED, work as a counselor helping women like me. A baby would push Marlon into getting us an apartment. I didn't want to hear people having sex on the other side of the wall anymore. I wanted a shelf for my son's toys. A baby was my key to a real home. But what if Marlon didn't want a baby? I looked at the test. There were 2 lines. The bathroom spun around me. Fuck. When I was pregnant with my first son, my boyfriend got so mad, he screamed and pushed me around. He wanted me to get an abortion, but I didn't believe in abortion. I was raised Catholic and did not want to go to hell. I had the kid and finally ran away when my boyfriend started hitting my son too. Then I met Marlon, who was part of a gang, but he was good to my son and me. I walked out of the bathroom shaking like a bobblehead. When I told Marlon, he jumped up and down and hugged me so hard he knocked me onto the bed. He screamed, "Yes, we're having a baby." Then he thought he crushed the baby and apologized. He rubbed my stomach, all while roaches scurried around the grocery bags that had our clothes in it, all while drugs were hidden in my son's backpack. We talked about our babies and a new life, all while the blue lights from police cars sipped through the windows. He put a finger over his mouth to tell my toddler to hush, while the police walked around the motel to defuse a fight that had broken out between hookers. I knew I had to go to the doctor for prenatal vitamins. I wasn't eating right. Sometimes I ate a 29-cent burger and nothing else for days. But to get to the doctor, I needed a Medicaid card, which I had not renewed because my renewal letter was sent to my friend's house and I forgot to ask about it. I had also lost our birth certificate and social security card without them moving around. New birth certificates cost $40. When I finally got the money, I had to wait for the document to be mailed to my grandfather's house. Then I applied for Medicaid, waited for the Department of Children and Family to review my application, approve it, and mail me the card. All in all, I was almost 5 months pregnant, which is 20 weeks, by the time I saw the OBGYN. When Marlon and I went to the ultrasound, we were so happy. Imagine us in that little ass room with a huge ultrasound machine like the ones in the movies. On the screen, our baby. Next to me, Marlon and my toddler. It was the most normal I had felt in years. The nurse started the exam, then said, "Give me a second, please," and walked out. Then the doctor sent us to Jackson Memorial. After enamel, blood work, ultrasound, and more testing, which took 2 weeks, the doctor said, "The baby's heart isn't developed as it should. If the baby make it through labor, he'll suffer a life of surgery, hospitalization, medication, and special care." Special care sounded expensive and impossible to do from a motel room. The doctor recommended an abortion. I was 22 weeks and had less than 2 weeks to decide. We were both raised in religious families. We didn't want an abortion. Marlon and I cried. We fought. In the end, he admitted I had the last word. It was my body, and if I chose abortion, I would be the one to go to hell. I kept thinking about what kind of life I would give Marlon Jr. Yeah, we named him. Even if I decided to have him and give him up for adoption, what was the likelihood that a baby with such heart problems would be adopted? As much as I wanted a stable life for Kervin and Marlon Jr., that wasn't our reality. Wouldn't it have been more selfish and sinful to bring a newborn to a motel with mold, roaches, or a car we sold crack out of? I decided to go with the abortion. It was the worst experience I have ever been through. I've never met a woman who enjoyed an abortion. Everything about it is painful. After the abortion, Marlon spiraled into depression and got hooked on Xanax. A year later, Marlon and I got arrested. It took me another year to leave Marlon. Then I lived bouncing around between people's houses until I finally got that counseling job, helping women like me, and made enough to rent my own place. That was 27 years ago. Now, I'm a housing analyst. I have a graduate degree. I have a book deal. I'm writing about homelessness. I have 2 adult children, 3 grandbabies I adore, and an amazing, gorgeous, supportive husband who also has a good career. I finally have my real home. I often think of Marlon Jr. I know I made the right decision for him. He would have suffered because of my selfish desires to bring him into a world under those circumstances. I also know I made the right decision for me, though I still struggle. Having Marlon Jr. and my son on the street and doing what I needed to do to survive would have caused me to lose custody of them both. Worse, who's to tell Marlon Jr. would have survived the streets? Still, for years, I felt evil, like I would end up in hell for what I did. But according to the Bible, God gave me the responsibility to choose what's right for me. The Bible doesn't say when God believes life begins. So while I wait for God, the only entity that has the power to judge me, I choose to believe that sometimes the most loving gift a mother can give her child's soul is another try at a better life.
It's your turn.
My turn? Shit. Thank you, Nilsa, for sharing your story. I think I know what people go through. We do not know what people are going through at all, at all. What takes them so long to make a decision? We don't know what takes people so long to make a decision.
No. I want to talk about something that Nilsa alluded to. I learned something really interesting by talking to a woman who's part of Catholics for Choice. And I love Catholics for Choice. And I've always wondered, how do you reconcile the idea that life begins at conception with abortion? And this woman told me, I want to get it right. She said, conscience is our ultimate guide.